Hello friends, it's Lindsay Satterfield, productivity trainer and coach. And today I want to talk to you about something super counterculture. And it is simplicity and focus. Simplicity and focus. So here's a definition that I looked up for simplicity. The quality of being plain without unnecessary or extra things. The quality of being plain without unnecessary or extra things. And another definition, freedom from complexity, intricacy, or division into parts. So freedom from complexity, intricacy, or division into parts. So simplicity. The way I like to think of simplicity is form and function. When something is simple, its purpose is very evident. When something is super complicated, sometimes the purpose is hidden, right? From a productivity point of view, simplicity is important because complexity can get us stuck in the weeds, right? Complexity can become an obstacle to moving forward. So we want to make things as simple as we can, as complex as they need to be, right, to address a situation, but not more complex than they need to be. And I'd say one of the things that I've been learning in this time, this challenging time during a global pandemic, and I think that I've heard from a lot of my friends and family members and clients is this quality of simplicity, of focus. Now, some of us are maybe crawling the walls and want to go travel or do other things, but I think what has become clear is how much complexity we may have been putting into our lives that didn't need to be there, that was actually hiding the thing that was most important, the purpose. So families are doing things together instead of in a car all the time, in logistics going back and forth. So this has been a time, I think, of self-reflection to see what is actually important to me and how can I maintain focus on that. Now, why do I call this counterculture? I call it counterculture because the world we live in is patterned, designed to grab our attention, right? There's so much information, so much noise, so many channels, so many competing voices, grabbing attention. Even how we work. So you go to work and in your home, and you get on the computer and there's a million emails grabbing your attention, right? And so we get in this busy mode without being able to extricate ourselves and say, what am I about? What do I need to be focused on? So we are trained to kind of have an external locus of control for how we operate versus having an internal locus of control. When we have an internal locus of control, meaning I know what I need to focus on, I know what's important, I am going to guide my actions that way, there is greater momentum, greater satisfaction, greater motivation, greater sense of impact when you can do that. You're not spread so thin. So let me see what else I wanted to tell you. Okay, so as I was saying, when things are overly complicated, our energy gets sucked into those things. So from a productivity and performance point of view, if you want to be more effective, you want to take out any unnecessary complication. You want to simplify. You want to make something simpler. And simplicity, I like to think about it as being in the neighborhood or friends with focus, right? It's kind of like the on-ramp to focus. When we can make things simpler, we can actually find what our focus needs to be, right? What is it that I need to focus on now? So focus is an interesting thing. I was recently having a conversation with a client who was telling me she was feeling extremely overwhelmed, and what she did to get out of that overwhelm, which I was super proud of her for, was to, she had gotten her list of goals down to 4, and felt really impressed with herself on that, and that was good. And she still felt overwhelmed. So she realized she needed to focus it even tighter down to just one thing for right now. So here's the thing about focus and why it's, there's a couple reasons why it's challenging. First of all, one thing to know is focus is a muscle that is atrophied in our current culture, right? That we don't have to use because we're constantly flipping our attention from this to that. We don't hone our focus very well, but it's something that you can practice. And focus is essential to be able to advance or make progress on your goals, your aspirations, your projects. You have to be able to have that capacity to narrow your focus, because then you can harness your energy and attention and effort in a way that really builds momentum. When your focus is split, which is kind of not really what focus is, right? When your focus is spread too thin, which means you're not focused, that's when the overwhelm sets in. And that's where feeling like you're kind of flailing around and just busy starts to happen. Now, I've been thinking about this focus thing, and one thing about focus, back to my client. She mentioned that once she tightened up her focus, when she narrowed her focus, she felt less overwhelmed, right? She felt more grounded was the word she used. And I thought, yeah, it's just like a dancer learning, doing a pirouette. You know, I took ballet when I was tiny. And the one thing I do remember is when you were learning a pirouette, you spotted on the wall, right? And every time you came around, you kept seeing that spot. And what did that do? That kept you balanced, right? Because if you had your attention everywhere, you would lose your footing. And I think the same thing is true when we're looking at our work, at what we're trying to advance. If we don't have clear focus, then it's really hard to feel that sense that I'm having an impact, I'm getting some momentum behind this. But here's the thing, I've really been thinking about why is focus so hard, other than it's just not that common, really. It's not supported that well in the kind of information onslaught that we get every day in our culture. So I was thinking about it. It's really, focus is a kind of informed leap of faith. So hear me out. So it's an informed leap of faith because I find that often, even when, in my Power Start program at the beginning of the year, it's a 3-month program where people are advancing in their goals for the year. And I always tell people, like, you can have really big goals for the year and you don't have to advance all of them and every aspect of them all at the same time. This is the power of sequencing and the power of focus. So you want to look at, how can I sequence this? What is the most important thing to do right now in order to advance towards my goals? And that takes a leap of faith. It's a leap of faith, of informed faith, that if I focus just on this thing, I can build enough momentum that I will get to the next thing. And it also requires that you have a clear sense of purpose and intent, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to know what to focus on, how to choose. So focus and simplicity, so important if you want to build that productivity muscle, that performance muscle. And really what we're talking about is having the impact that you want, not only in work, but in all aspects of your life. So if there's some quality you want to develop, if there's something you want in your personal life, in your family life, in your relationships, being able to say, where am I going to focus? I'm not going to work on everything. I'm going to work on this one thing and get some momentum. And that creates the platform a little higher to move into the next and the next. So it's that leap of faith saying, if I don't move everything forward at the same time, but I actually sequence this in an informed way, I will get where I need to go. So think about simplicity and focus. And what you can do, one way that I like to think about it is, if you're feeling overwhelmed, think about, where is your overwhelm? How can I make this simpler? How can I make this simpler? And then the other question is, what is the most important thing to focus on right now? These are great things to think about every single day. How can I make my day simpler? And what can I focus on today? How can I make my week simpler? And what can I focus on this week? How can I make my month simpler? And what can I focus on this month? And step by step, you end up getting there. So I'd love to hear from you if you have ever struggled with focus and attention, or have found ways to actually hone your own focus. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your experience. Put it in the comments below. And also I want you to know that today is the first day I'm opening up enrollment for the Good Finish, Great Start program, which is a 6-week program that's starting mid-November to the end of the year, to have a good finish to 2020, because a good finish in 2020 is a great finish, right? So we're going to end out the year in feeling on solid footing so that we can enter the new year feeling good, feeling not like, oh my gosh, I'm glad it's over, but I'm actually making progress towards things that matter to me. So I'll put information about that in the comments below as well, and I hope you have a wonderful day.